Y'all probably gonna get on me about this. For the last 4 minutes, I was under the impression that I was actually speaking and I had my mic on mute. My apologies. I could just start this whole entire thing over, but it wouldn't be a point of doing that. So instead, I'll continue on with the point of this particular stream. See the title. Most of us are pretty aware of what this actually means. Some of us probably less than others, but I wanted to touch on this for my own particular reason, mostly because we tend to get these topics misconfabulated. Difference between having a healthy debate versus an argument. Let's identify the different characteristics between both and understand how impactful both can be in their own unique ways. A lot of times when we decide that we're going to have a conversation with someone and we're expressing our opinion or our indifference towards a matter that might not be very favorable in the other person's eye, words can easily alter the course of the conversation, and, and it really can determine what is inevitably going to make or break the validity of your partnership in any wave. It could be over the smallest thing, it can be over the biggest thing, it can be over politics, it can be over proving your point. But the difference with debating someone and arguing with someone is an art that is completely neglected and disrespected, and it does not get the due justice that it should, in as far as my opinion goes. So when we think about an argument, what's the first thing that really comes to mind? Emotions, something going on inside of you internally that you cannot filter out in a healthy way, and it comes out aggressive, it comes out irrational, it comes out full of folly and foolishness. There's no reasoning behind arguments. Arguments tend to start as a small kindle and turn into a major fire. And we all know that what happens when a small kindle becomes big, there's really no stopping the fire. Once the fire starts to consume, everything in its path is going to burn. If you have a disagreement with someone and you're on the opposing side of the other person, what do you initially do? Do you listen? Or are you coming from a place of hurt and you feel a certain way? So your ability to process other person's view on the subject matter is negated by your inability to digest what's being said to you. So what happens? You tend to twist and alter words and dialogue to create your own version of outcome or a truth. You're not able to really hear what the other person is saying because you've already gotten to a point within yourself that nothing matters what the other person is saying. Or maybe, just maybe, you are in a position to where you're so programmed to think and move one way that no one else's reply or response to what you're saying is going to be good enough. And so you feed off of creating a certain type of vibe and energy. See what happens when you argue, there's a spirit that gets in the midst of your back and forth, and that spirit feeds off of the negative energy that you output, and it draws nearer and closer, and it increases. It makes you more belligerent. It binds you to your feelings. It enhances it, and before you know it, you're having a disagreement with someone that you probably shouldn't have, or you could have avoided it. But it always ends up turning into violence, word salad, right? It always turns into you cussing out the other person or you going the extra mile to make the other person feel a certain way. Salutes SM. There's always something that gets in the way of getting to the root of the problem. And it's quite sad, honestly. A lot of our drama, a lot of our family issues, a lot of the things that go on in partnerships and friendships and on the job is because of lack of understanding the difference between communicating and speaking at people. What is a debate? From my point of view, a debate are a multitude of partners or parties who argue one view over the other. So let's do this. Let's say you're sitting at one end of the table, the other person is sitting at the other part of the table. It's a lovely Saturday night. You're out at a restaurant. I'm setting the mood. We have a nice dinner sitting in front of you. Everyone is dressed pretty chic. And a discussion is brought to your attention. Now, this particular subject comes up and it's not very pleasant. It's uncomfortable. A lot of the conversations that we have are discomfort. we're not always going to like what the other person is going to say. That's just the reality. But they present it to you in a respectful manner. They're not yelling at you. They're not being aggressive with how they're articulating. They're not attacking your person. They're being calm. Their level of tone is fairly reasonable. And they say, hey, X, Y, and Z. That alone right there should allow you to respond in the same fashion. If you have the same respect for the other person. Now, what I didn't mention was as they are expressing their indifference or their grievances towards you, and this doesn't have to just be in a restaurant. It's gonna be out in public, on the street, on a bus. But they conduct and carry themselves in a similar fashion. But they apply a certain technique that allows them to speak to you in a way that is not giving off the impression that they're trying to attack you. A lot of folks who get into disputes or conversations with other people feel as though they're being attacked because what is being said to them is not pleasurable or it's not aesthetically appealing to their palate. And because they can't breathe, slow down, and process what's being said to them, what ends up happening is their response is irrational. They jump 5 steps ahead of you before you're capable or able to get out what you need to say. That's the argument part of it. The debate side of it is you say everything that you need to say to me. You mad about this. You don't like this. Or let's say you're not even angry about anything. Let's say you're genuinely trying to help me, right? You're trying to give me advice. You're telling me something about myself that I didn't see. The part of me that is capable of listening. And when I say listen, I mean you are silent. You don't cut them off. You actually take the time to dissect the words that are being spoken to you, the definitions and the meanings behind the actual word. Use logic. Emotions are nowhere near involved, and you can process the back and forth. Once you've allowed them to say exactly what they need to say, then you process it. Once you've processed it, then you're able to respond in a healthy way that's not providing indignation or coming off as passive or unruly, but you can respond in a way that will maybe you still disagree, but you can still disagree without being disrespectful. Or you can let them know, well, maybe there is things that I need to, you know, you might be right about a lot of things that you're saying to me. I can respect that. And then you can come back and give your response. And they process and respect and listen to you equally as you did them. That's a debate. That's how you have a conversation. That's the way you communicate with someone. A lot of times, what I notice a lot, and it's usually with people who give the impression that they feel they're superior to you or they're better than you, they will never respect a single word that comes out of your mouth. What they do, they'll interrupt you, they'll cut you off. When you have an argument, they don't address the subject matter at hand. They tend to always divert from it and attack you versus the actual subject. If I'm talking to you about how dissatisfied I am about the things that you're doing in a relationship or as an employee, and I'm speaking on a specific issue, and your only response to me is to attack my dress code, my leadership, or you're trying to, come at me in a derogatory way that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're speaking on, you're defeating the purpose of us sitting here speaking. I might as well just carry out what I want to do and let you go, or take this matter to someone who can mediate in a way that's going to get us both the desired outcome that we both need out of this. Attack the argument. Don't attack the person. Why are you attacking the person? Is it a diversion? Is this your way of trying to avoid being accountable? Is this your way of running away from the truth that's being said to you? Why are you attacking the person? Why do we attack the people who are trying to care for us and tell us the truth and be 100% honest with us about the things that's going on with us? Why do we do it? Why do we fight folks who have a issue with our deficiencies? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And we can all grow and learn. So if someone has something to say that might be able to help, why are you not addressing the matter at hand but trying to avoid it? But people don't have tough skin at all. Not anymore. Not these days. Every single little thing triggered them. And I know it's because it's the truth and you can't handle it. A lot of people say they can handle it, but they really can't. I think this is important because you can easily misinterpret every single thing that someone is saying to you because you heard one thing out of an entire 5 minutes. And that one thing was the only thing that triggered you. You didn't pay attention to nothing else. And now you're jumping down the other person's throat, belligerent, hostile, putting people in precarious situations that never needed to happen in the first place. Am I lying? You ever had a conversation with someone, and as soon as you start to getting to some real deep concerns that involve the opposite gender's deficiencies, they They don't speak until you start saying something that they don't want to hear. Once you start saying something they don't want to hear, that's when they start to blah, 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 blah. They start to cut you off. They increase the pitch in their tone. They get louder. You can feel and hear the anger and rage just coming off of them through the phone, through the text messages, capital letters, capital letters, emojis. And then it comes insults. They hang up on you. They won't speak to you for days and weeks. You know what type of people those are? Those are folks that you should really be mindful of. I hear this word emotional intelligence, and I really want to know from the people what does that really mean? Because it doesn't seem like a lot of people have it. When you attack a person versus addressing the elephant in the room, when you feel as though you have no other option within your repertoire that can combat the onslaught of words being slain and thrown at you, and you decide that the only way to get your point across is to throw across and completely lose your mind and go after the person. That tells me that you are not someone that is very reliable or stable in their ways. It means that you're someone that I have to keep at a safe distance, because at any given moment, once something doesn't go the way that you want it to go, all hell is going to break loose. You're not adult enough to be able to handle the problem or the situation in the way that needs to be dealt with. Ultimately, it will later on become a deeper problem for everyone around us. It tells me that you're just completely unstable, can't trust you, only as good as happy you are. You can be happy and provide one of the most wonderful experiences for a person, but the minute that things are rough and not going in the ways that you would like them to go, it's not worth its weight in gold. It doesn't add up. The amount of drama and anger and frustration and the amount of things that you can possibly lose due to someone who is not able to maintain their womanhood or their manhood over words is not someone that you want to keep in your circle very close at all. People lie to each other all the time. People cheat. People disagree. People are jealous. People curse on your name. People slander. People are very disrespectful with road rage, with bad manners at restaurants, on the job. People are very rude. It's been this way for a millennia. It's never going anywhere. But you think that the way that you should respond and handle disagreements or someone telling you something that might be possibly good for you is by being theatrical and repugnant with your verbiage. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You think the best course of action is to scream out your window, cut in front of someone, put your middle finger up at. You think the best way to deal with someone who slanders your name is to go back and forth and argue with them? You only lower your value. You only dirty and make your spirit tarry in a place of inconsistency and frustration and burden. When it's all said and done, by the time you're done having this back and forth with the person, you've wasted 20 minutes of your life that you can't get back. And it's completely altered your mood, the way you feel. Argue the argument, attack the argument, not the person. That's why you're there, right? The reason why you are in this setting with whoever it is because there's a disagreement that needs to be handled and it needs to have a settlement. How should it be? How should it end? That's up to you totally. I hate when people act as if there's nothing that can be rectified or healed. I despise the idea that it's impossible for a person to have a disagreement and not be able to come to mutual grounds and walk opposite directions. It's very possible. I don't care how harsh the conditions are. You control your emotions. You have the same flesh and blood, the same tendons, the same organs. You have the capability to process, listen, dissect, and learn the difference between when you're being patronized and when someone is genuinely trying to be of help. You know the difference. I appreciate you, Miss T. Don't don't attack the person, attack the argument. That's why we are where we are. How many friendships and how many relationships have we met with so much disdain that it changed our mood and our personalities? And all you simply have to do is attack the argument and not the person. See, whether or not you keep them around you for a lengthy period of time is irrelevant. What you want to do is become a better version of yourself. You want to come out of it a better communicator. You want to come out it in a way that it doesn't alter you in a way that you carry it with you everywhere you go. Because I put it to you this way: everyone knows someone who's very argumentative. Everyone knows someone who argues to see who's right Everyone knows someone who wants to prove that you're wrong and all of those things. We all know someone like that. How do you combat that? How do you allow yourself the opportunity to be free from the anchor that is keeping them at the bottom of the ocean, drowning in their own self hate and pity and drama and mess and mirth? Because at the end of the day, people who have road rage and don't know how to settle disputes with words are folks that have broken things inside of them. And we misconstrue a lot of what is being polarized in media as things to be glorified. I don't admire you for flipping off someone in traffic. I don't admire you for getting in front of the camera and trying to destroy someone's reputation. I don't admire you for trying to destroy a person's self-esteem because they said something to you that was displeasurable. Okay, people are going to try to embarrass and humiliate you. People are going to always try to harass and bully and lie and just so many different areas that we can touch on when it comes to this type of a person that it doesn't make no sense. So you tell me that if you have a dispute or a disagreement with someone, instead of having the conversation like adults and saying, well, this is how I feel, and then they listen and they say, this is how I feel, and then you put that together and then you come to some form of a agreement or disagreement. All right, well, it looks like I did some things to you that I really didn't care at the time that I was doing. I apologize. I'll do what I need to do to make this better, or vice versa. You always have a option. There's always a door that you can walk through that does not involve going to prison or acting like a fucking child. Stop playing with stop these games, man. Sitting up here gossiping, talking about people, going back and forth with people and I'm speaking directly to folks who understand exactly what I'm talking about. You know, it's not going to get you nowhere. See, they've been living like that for damn near all their life. They don't understand attacking the person does nothing for them, because even if they attack you for speaking your mind, they still got to carry that bullshit with them later on, and they're going to carry it everywhere they go, and it's always going to be the same repeat over and over and over again. Now you decide that you want to feed into their stuff. I don't care if it's a boss, I don't care if it's a police officer. You want to feed in them trying to egg you on, go ahead. Let me know how that work out for you. I tell you how it work out for you. It doesn't work out for you. A part of their spirit rub off on you. You go home, you angry, you want to drink, you want to smoke. That same energy that they poured on you, you want to pour and take it out on somebody else. A day later, maybe you go to sleep, wake up the next day and realize that you caused more damage. I want to say people become casualties of pettiness. People who had nothing to do with what happened to you end up in the crossfires because you're dealing with grown men and women who do not have the ability to handle situations in a amicable way. And now, because of your inability to separate what these different types of people are, they have now won. They've rubbed off all of their negative BS on you, and you take it to your family, you take it to your friends, you take it to the people that had nothing to do with how they talked to you or how they treated you. Who really wins? But social media and people here, they'll say you're soft and you're weak for walking away, for not giving them the acknowledgement, for not going back and forth with them, for not matching their time and their effort and their energy into trying to purposely ruin and destroy your day. I'm around people all the time who try to antagonize me or try to bait me in or respond in similar fashion. But I know if I do that, then I'm really no better than them. That's one of the plus sides about being an introvert. You get to really learn people, their body language, their movements, how they project, how they speak. They reveal themselves in so many different ways, man. It's not it's not a joke. I'm so more at peace with myself than I've ever been because I understand when a person is trying to create a hurricane where there's millions of homes and people with families are just trying to enjoy their life and be peaceful. But you got that one person that tries to create a storm that just runs through everything and obliterates it all. All it takes is you feeding into it. Sometimes it takes age and experience to learn ourselves enough to decide what battles to choose. I'd rather walk away. That's exactly how I feel about it. Either you walk away from it or you just don't even give it room to grow at all. I had someone today say something to me about something that I should have done as far as using a broom and dustpan. And when they typically, say things to me, it's usually them being around someone else. It's like they're trying to purposely embarrass you in front of people when they speak to you. So me understanding what type of person that is, I ignore it and I keep it moving. And you will never break me in that way. You're never going to get me to act like you. I know it's just you projecting. Now, when I say attack the argument, not the person, I mean literally just that. Whether it's a panel or it's just you and the person one on one. You're there for a resolution. You're not there to fight. I would like to think that you're friends. I would like to think that you're cordial. I would like to think that you care for the other person. Otherwise, what was the point of you even being involved with them in the first place if you can't talk to them the way that you need to talk to them? Address it, move on. But if you think that your goal is going to be fulfilled by attacking them, all you're doing is making them look at. There's so many different ways this stuff can go. You can make them hate you more, or you can make them care about you more. It all really depends on you. Are you really trying to sabotage the relationship? What is your real end goal here when you're telling someone the truth, or you're lying to them, or you're purposely trying to push their buttons, or you're trying to deflect? What is your real ultimate goal in having the uncomfortable conversations? Hell, some people you can't even play around with. And the sad thing about what you just said, there's people that is my age and older that still act like children. The jail population proves that there's people in positions at work that shouldn't even have their job. They're spiteful. You disagree with them in any form, shape, or capacity, they will make your work experience living hell because they are petty. They didn't believe that a person that gets paid less than them had the right to say anything to them at all, even if it was for the betterment of the workplace. But we misinterpret. We don't listen. We don't have conversations to understand the other person. We have conversations for them to hear us and understand us. That's why a lot of these relationships are in so much disarray, because the conversations aren't conversations. They are attacking the person and not the argument. Because really, when you really think about it, if a person is attacking you, they can do they really respect you? Can they really say they care about you? Is it some type of mental thing that's blocking them from really understanding what you're saying to them, or whatever the case may be? Or is it just a lack of, I don't really respect you, subconsciously or consciously? Worked with the wrong people, broke my spirit enough to leave it. I was losing sight of my own life. I hear you. I hear you completely. I left a lot of places like that. And I think at the same time, it was a combination of my inability to face certain things head on like I should have at the time. One thing that you have to do at all times is protect your peace by any means necessary, whether it's not you have to set boundaries, or you have to find other alternatives to create that happiness and that joy that you need even in the most bleakest places. I've lost a lot of blessings walking away from jobs because I wasn't happy. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, my communicational skills wasn't the greatest either. So a lot of that stuff fell upon me as well, which is why I'm speaking on this too. We have to find ways to communicate better. And after the communication has been put on the wall, if things still do not move the way that they need to move, I pray that God will continue to guide us in the ways that we need to go. Because, quite frankly, I'm not trying to babysit no one. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to, disrespect nobody. But at the end of the day, I have to respect myself, and boundaries have to be in place. Otherwise, people will continue to move and act and do things the way they want to do them. But if you are a person who enjoys their peace and you want to be in a tranquil spot, you're going to have to find that in yourself. You're going to have to be able to get to a point where you understand people are assholes. They're always going to be assholes. They're always going to be people trying to antagonize you, piss you off, rub you the wrong way, start shit, create issues, lie, and do all that. You're going to have to understand that it's always going to come wherever you are. And forget what the popular placement or the proper, how can I say this? Social media, family, friends, celebrities, etc., so on and so on. They all promote violence. They promote getting payback, revenge. They all say that you're a certain way. They stigmatize you and put this thing on you to where if you don't respond or handle it in the way that the worldly people handle it, then you're an outcast, that you ain't worth shit, that you are weak, that you're soft. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's bullshit. They're fucking lying to you. They full of it. Weak is acting just as ignorant as the person that is yelling and cussing at you. Weak is going back and forth with someone who is acting ignorant as fuck in front of 10-year-olds and 5-year-olds in the fucking restaurant. You at McDonald's fighting the cashier, and you 55, 60 years old fighting and beating up on an elderly woman in front of kids and shit. Belligerent, throwing food, jumping on the counter, and all this crazy shit. That is fucking weak. That is fucking childish. You're a grown woman. You're a grown ass man. Have some fucking decency. Have some respect for your family and loved ones that brought you up into this world. You're all on camera. You're on social media. People are commenting and liking and laughing and joking on your ignorant ass behavior. You're viral. But are you viral in the ways that you should be viral for? You're not weak for walking away. You're not weak for ignoring ignorant ass people trying to purposely test your patience. You're not weak for not wanting to go back and forth with somebody who's asking you dumbass questions. You're not weak for not wanting to be in certain social circles. You're not weak for wanting to stand out and be different. You're not weak at all. Fuck bullies. Fuck popularity. Anyone who cannot sit down as a grown ass adult and have a conversation with another grown ass adult, you're not a grown adult. You're just a fucking adult you're just a kid in an adult's body. That's it. You're weak because let me let's have church real quick. You're weak. Why are you weak? Because instead of owning up to your flaws and saying, damn, I don't listen. I don't really give a fuck about what they're saying. I really don't know how to have conversations with people. I really am belligerent. I really am ghetto. I really do talk this way. I really do. Instead of saying, yeah, that's me, I'm guilty of it. Instead of slowing down, owning your shit, and being able to say, all right, I need to do this. If I really want to change, if I really want to be better than what I am, I need to acknowledge my internal screw up. I need to acknowledge the demons that's in me. I need to acknowledge that I have to get proper help. Instead of owning your shit, instead of being able to look at the person across from you and understand that there's something deeper going on here than just how you feel at the moment. Instead of doing the work, you would rather incite altercations, violence, get in front of the camera, talk about people, stalk people, create lies on people, omit truth, word vomit, word salad, ad hominems, gaslight, all to manipulate the other person into feeling a certain way that you know damn well is not the truth, in order to keep and maintain a certain sense of control over the other person, so that you can continue to live in this delusion that you are the victim, that you are the one who is the damsel in distress, when in all reality you are working with the wicked one. You are one of the devices of evil used and utilized to destroy and rob a person of their peace and their joy and happiness. But you don't see it and you don't want to see it. So you continue to move the way that you move, freely, happily, and no care in the world. But the general public and consensus would make it seem as though you're the one that's normal and we're not, because we see through your bullshit. We see it, we understand, we can feel it. That's why you attack the person and not the argument. Because if you attack the argument, then you have to deal with the things that you've been avoiding all of your life. You have to go to sleep with that on your brain. It's going to haunt you. You're going to see it in other people. And truth be told, it don't matter if you attack the person or not. If you think, by doing that, you're going to escape it, because it's going to come back around in someone else and something else. It might be 10 times more intense than it was then, but it's going to come back. It's always going to follow you, regardless. You can't run from it. There are ways to have conversations, people. There are ways to talk to someone about what's going on. You can heal, you can break yokes. There's nothing that's impossible. God is everywhere. He sees everything. He will get in the midst of it if you invite him in. Nothing is out of the realm of being fixed if you so desire it. Do you desire it? Is that what you want? Or do you want to walk behind the veil as long as you possibly can, unseen, unnoticed? See, I'm trying to tell you, like, see it every day. And there's days where I think I'm crazy for how I choose to respond and how I choose not to respond. And then I realized, like, it's not me. Maybe I have some parts in some things, but it's not me. It's not all me. I'm not tripping. It's impossible. And then people want to wonder why their marriages ain't working out, why they having all these children, why their children out here in the street doing what they doing, why the internet is the way it is, why we don't have community, why we don't have people working together, why we don't have harmony, why people are jealous of other people secretly, sitting up here pretending like they cool with you and they like you and they really don't. But they want to express what triggered them, what put them in that position to feel the way that they feel towards the other person. So they do things covertly to sabotage you and hurt you, and you don't even realize that you have all of these enemies and things of that nature, all because of miscommunication. You sitting up here thinking that things are one way and it's really not. Or if there is things going on, no one is talking. No one wants to really talk. People are so ghost and zombie like. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping though. Oh, what do I know? It's just deep entropy, man. Poet. I post poetry. I do short stories sometimes here and there. I do goofy little silly shit and post it up here and upload them. The man behind the mask. What does he know about life? What does he know about the human experience and how life works and how to engage and how to operate? What does he know? He doesn't have all of these different things going on. He's not on major networks. He's not pushing millions and millions of views. What does he know? I just got my shit done, so I ain't really trying to fuck it up. I gotta keep my head on. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm real strict about keeping my shit right. I've always been like that. I just started growing my shit back a few months ago. Maybe it's probably been about a year, if so. But I'm very particular about maintaining my stuff. So sometimes I might have it all, but I'm always gonna keep this on. I gotta keep my shit straight. But nah, man, for real, man, we gotta learn how to communicate better. We gotta talk. Content creators, poets, singers, writers, podcasters, friends, cousins, sisters, lost relatives that you ain't spoke to in years. Yeah, we have to talk. We have to have a conversation. I don't care if you never speak to them again. I don't care if you control your emotions. Stop making excuses about why you get angry. You get angry because you decided to get angry. Let me say that again. You get angry because you decided to get angry. I don't care if a person said F your deceased X and X. I don't care if they said something about your child. Those are words. They're words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How many times have I heard that? How many times have you heard that? But you still get angry as soon as someone says something about your little one, or about your wife, or your husband, or your favorite niece or cousin, or someone says something to you on the job. As soon as someone says one thing to you, triggered. But who's the one who got mad? Who got angry? You did. You allow what they said to you to dictate how you're going to feel on the inside. Now your day is fucked up. Now your whole energy is off. Don't come to me with your shit. I inboxed you. I said, hi, how was your day? And your response is shitty. It's all funky. You give me the most mundane response ever. You think I'm going to want to put up with that? I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to talk about it. I'm looking at it like, damn shit. So if I start trying to talk to you right now, all you're going to do is bring my spirit down. Why do I want that shit around me? I don't. Go handle your stuff and then come back to me when you in a better mood. But you did it to yourself. You're allowing people to be able to say things to you and trigger you to respond. And then once you respond, you still ain't really win anything. The argument was never solved. The issue was never solved. It was only expanded upon and created a larger gap between freedom and destruction. So you decide that you're going to get triggered and pissed off towards them. You further made it harder for you to find the peace that you want and desire so badly. If people really trigger you like that, that's another thing too. And I'm gonna close with this. If these people can easily manipulate, alter, and dictate your mood that quick, that easy, what does that say about what's going on with you as a person? How much work have you actually done on yourself? You enjoy the rest of your night, my friend. I'm getting ready to close out myself. But how much work have you done on yourself to allow someone to be able to control you that way? Because that's really all it is. Break the stigmas, break the cycle. Stop allowing people to create and make rules for you that are fucking garbage. Furthermore, if you're not having the discussion to get to a destination, why are you on the road driving alongside them? Kick their ass out the passenger seat and continue to go on to where you're trying to get. They mean you no good. Self-reflect, people. Self-reflect. There's always a way. There's always an option. Figure it out. You'll be much happier. I promise. We pulling up tomorrow. Got one for you tomorrow. We gonna talk. Saturday gonna be another banger. I'm looking forward to it. I thank each and every single one of you, man, for coming out. My apologies too. I I started this live stream off and I was cooking, but I didn't realize that my my mic was on mute, so I was talking for like 4 minutes straight, and you're probably not going to get anything. So I don't want nobody to think that I was talking to myself. It was just I didn't have the mic on. So if you want to watch this back, you're probably going to have to skip through the first 4 minutes and go right to that full 5 minute mark around that time. That's where we really, get it in. But thanks to each and every single one of you coming out, man. I'm blessed. I'm grateful for all of you. I look forward to getting up with you tomorrow, man. This Assembly of Excellence signing out. Enjoy the rest of your night.